Hello Internet folk, hello to the Tiddlerhood, and hello to the fans of the basic programming language. Update to the Basic Anywhere machine. I wanted to show you the export menu item that I added to the file menu. This export button right here, this is a native TiddlyWiki button meant for export. And has 4 standard items. This is standard TiddlyWiki export items right here, the first 4. I've added 3 more to the list. The native TiddlyWiki export options are Csv File. So take a tiddler, which would be called a page in other wikis. In TiddlyWiki it's called a tiddler. It gives you an opportunity to save your tiddler as a CSV file. Not going to get into that because I haven't found a personal use for that, and I don't think there'd be any use for it with Basic Anywhere Machine. Json File takes your basic program and takes it as a tiddler, exports it to a JSON file that usually is meant for dragging into other TiddlyWikis for import. Static HTML will take the current tiddler, so this basic program, and export it as an HTML file. That's it. And the next one will export the basic program as a TIDD file, which is a TiddlyWiki text format for exporting tiddlers for then import those tiddlers into some other TiddlyWiki. The next 3 that I've added for the purposes of Basic Anywhere Machine, the BAS file export will take the basic program and just export it to a plain text file, normally with a BAS extension, so that the basic program that we have running that we've built in Basic Anywhere Machine can be used by other basic implementations. So let's say you want to write a program in Basic Anywhere Machine that somebody else with QB64 would be able to run, or FreeBasic. The export BAS.HTML file, that will export the basic program that we're looking at as a program within a web page, a dedicated web page for the program. So it's a way to deploy this program almost like you would an executable. It's a way to deploy this basic program so that somebody in the web can run the program without having TiddlyWiki or anything else but a web browser. The last one will export this basic program, but also all the other things that this basic program needs to run in some other TiddlyWiki instance that doesn't know anything at all about Basic Anywhere Machine or what to do with a basic program. Now I've taken some time before the video to export each one of these file formats, including the CSV one, which I did just for the giggles. I don't see much use for it, but if you open it with a text editor, you'll see that it's got, your first line of columns, titles, as you would a CSV, and then your basic program is actually all under the last column, or whatever that is. Not much use to me, but anyway. Let's take a look at this one. This was the first option, and this is your standard TW export format of a tiddler to a JSON file. If we take a look at the format of that, it's kind of messy. It's not really meant to be human readable. Well, at least not me readable. I don't know about you. But the whole purpose of this is to be able to drag this to some other TiddlyWiki, and here we got tiddlywiki.com open, so that we can import the basic program, or the tiddler. Right now, it's just a tiddler. There's no special anything about it. So here's the basic program that we've got in Basic Anywhere Machine, exported to a JSON file, exported the tiddler to a JSON file. Now we've got a tiddler in some other TiddlyWiki instance that has our program in it. Can't really do anything with it, but it might be useful for documentation purposes or whatever. Anyhow, so let's move that over. And let's take a look at the third one, the third option, which was to take a tiddler and export it as an HTML file. And if we take a look at that in our browser, we'll see here's our basic program inside of an HTML file, and it's just meant to show the basic program. That's it, that's all. Might be useful if you want to have a site that just shows basic programs in single HTML files. The next one, and that's exporting a tiddler to a text file that's in a TID text file in the TID format. And this one is a bit more human readable. We can see that it's showing the various fields that belong to the tiddler created by me on a particular date, and then it has our basic program in it. So let's close this up and let's see what happens when we bring that into a fresh version of the TiddlyWiki. So let's drag that over, we import it, and we see it's the exact same result as using a JSON file. It's creation of a tiddler that came from some other TiddlyWiki, rather it's import of a tiddler that came from some other TiddlyWiki into this TW instance. Now the first export option that I added to the list was to export the basic program to a BAS file, just a standard text file, which we can then take that file and go over and open it with QB64 or QBasic or FreeBasic or you name it, and hopefully be able to run the program over there without any incompatibilities. This option here is nice. The second option I added was to take the basic program, put it into an HTML file along with all of the other stuff that's needed to be able to run the basic program. So if we open this with our browser, we see that we've got the basic program running right there in the web page. Now this is handy for creating programs and then sharing those programs with other people who want to run the program and not necessarily do anything with the source code. And finally, the BAS.JSON export I created. Let's refresh our TiddlyWiki and let's drag this over for import, and we see that yes, it brings our basic program, artillery 3. This is the example we've been using in this video, but it also includes some other tiddlers that are needed to be able to run this program in another TiddlyWiki instance. So let's proceed with the import, and let's take a look at artillery 3, and you'll see that now, yes, it's just the tiddler, except that now we've got a run button for that tiddler, and we hit the run button, we then get into running the basic program. So here we are running the basic program, and we see the source code for the program as we're running it. So that's kind of a nice way to share a program with other people so they can run the program but also see what the program does, and they can also edit the program right there in the tiddler without the IDE, but at least they can still modify it. Anyway, so that's it for export. Those are all the things that we can do, and I find these rather useful. It means that Basic Anywhere Machine, this self-contained environment for writing programs, testing programs, storing the programs all in one file, that we can now take our basic programs and export them in various ways for different purposes. So, useful feature, I think. Anyway, cheers. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.